2, 3.
Okay, well, today's the day we're finally going to get paint on this old girl. The weather forecaster was wrong, so we almost didn't get started, but got our final coat of high build primer on here, and we went ahead and used 400 grit and knocked it down, and got a lot of the little small bumps out of it. And it's smooth as can be now. Like I said, the 400 grit worked really good. I got it all wiped down and we were ready to paint. So I got it up to temperature in here, I got everything swept down, blown off, and we're going to go ahead and we'll start mixing it. We're going to start with our black sealer. That'll get us a good base coat to get us our consistency when we're spraying our gunmetal metallic. And then we'll come back in with 2 coats of base coat, and then also we'll finish off with 2 coats of clear. And as long as nothing goes, we're just going to do a wet on wet application. I think it's like a 30-minute flash time in between coats. That'll give me enough time to clean my gun with acetone and go in and start mixing up the next batch to keep going. So it'll go pretty quick once we get started here. I'm going to crack the door just to keep a little bit of airflow moving, and I've got my fan out there out the dog door, and we'll suck air out that way. So hopefully we don't get any dust. Like I said, we've done everything we could to try to eliminate it. So cross our fingers and we'll get started. And here you can see it fully completed with the sealer on there. Everything turned out pretty good. I did get a couple spots of dust right along here. You can kind of see it as the light shimmers on it, but we're going to wait for it to dry, and we're going to try to quick sand them out before we keep going with our base coat. As long as we keep it within a couple hours here, don't have to scuff everything. But everything else looks really good. The black turned out really good. Normally when you spray black, you can find any small imperfections in your bodywork, and so far, gotta say, I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out right all along here. Smooth as glass. And over here you can see a little bit of the dust particles too. It's really not that big of a deal in its location, but we'll go ahead and try to fix them while we can, but everything else looks awesome. We got one little speck right there I might try to pick out while we're trying to get it cleaned up. But alright, well, we'll let this keep drying, and as soon as we can safely sand those out. I got our test fender right here that we can use to, it's still tacky, so I don't want to try to do anything yet. And we'll go ahead and keep spraying. Okay, now with our spots sanded out and everything's still in pretty good shape, it's time for the color. This is pretty nerve-wracking because it's pretty easy to screw up metallics. We're going to try to do 2 even coats on the inside, 3 coats on the outside, and then followed by a quick dusting coat. Well, let's go ahead and get done with this. We went ahead and tack clothed it, make sure there's no particles or dust anything in it this time. Hopefully it stays that way. And like I said, we got all our spots sanded down, so here we go. And finally, after a month and a half of hard work, it is finally painted. And this is only just the cap. I still got to do all the doors and fenders and hood and visor and all kinds of fun stuff, and still got to find a bed. But the color is absolutely incredible. I don't know if you can really see the effect of this or not, but that metallic, the gunmetal metallic, is simply beautiful. And I'm just really glad I went with this color. I fell in love with this color for a while now, and I wanted that on my Dodge, and well, didn't work out, but here it is now. So couldn't be happier with how it turned out. There's only one really tiny little spot that I missed, and I guarantee you 90%, 98% of you will never find it. And even if you do, you'll realize it's not a big deal. So really good. The gunmetal gray was really hard to see what I'd covered and what I didn't on the black background. I kind of wish I would have kept it just in gray primer when I sprayed it. Don't know why they recommend that black, but yeah, it's really hard to tell where you were spraying and not, so that kind of made it a little bit difficult. But other than that, I am not complaining because it looks awesome considering it was done here in this 2-car garage with not all the right ventilation and weather and everything, so no complaints here. Well, tomorrow hopefully we'll call up some buddies and we'll get this thing tossed up back on there, and maybe take a few days breaks here. I haven't been putting a lot of time on this, and really just need a break from it. So alright, well, if you haven't subscribed, go and subscribe and stay tuned. With not all the right ventilation and weather and everything, so no complaints here. Well, tomorrow hopefully we'll call up some buddies and we'll get this thing tossed up back on there, and maybe take a few days breaks here. I haven't been putting a lot of time on this, and really just need a break from it. So alright, well, if you haven't subscribed, go and subscribe and stay tuned.